rated that upper well. I'm Leslie from Rhode Island High School. He rated that other well with possibly permeability. Let me tell you this well. Is this one the one you stick in around and float?
Yeah, obviously. The question is, you know, the quality of the well. Is it a highly porous zone, a highly permeable zone? I don't know about this particular well, but I know a little bit about deep water wells, and typically the permeability is much lower than a lot of the onshore wells that we've drilled over the years, but the pressure that the oil and gas is under is far greater, which is why the well flows so well. The reservoir itself is supposed to be a very huge reservoir, very large reservoir, one that will produce for many, many years once we get it under control. This is a very, very large reservoir that's been discovered in deep water. Yeah.
I just have a second question. That slide about how many billions of barrels per day per year, the one where there was the
How much we produce in the U.S.?
no, it was a graph that had to do with the last time we did in 1969.
Yeah.
It was 120,000 billion barrels per day.
No, it was more like I don't remember the numbers, but it was around 100,000 barrels. Yeah, and so barrels. For example, the obvious question that leads to is how large is this spill versus other spills that have happened in the past? This is not yet, we don't think. It's hard to know. As you see watching the news, there are ranges of estimates about how much oil is flowing from this well. The original estimates were that we were losing about 5,000 barrels of oil, and that was based upon the pictures they took. And a lot of people think that maybe that was an underestimate. The maximum estimate that I've seen is in the range of 60 to 80,000 barrels a day. And so if you look more towards that maximum range, the largest spills in the world were on the order of the same size as this spill. The largest spill ever in the world that we know of was after the first Gulf War, when the Iraqis basically sabotaged hundreds of oil wells and created blowouts that had to be controlled. Somebody is going to have to go back and take a look at this on sort of a day-by-day basis to look at how much oil is being spilled. But this will be one of the largest, but it won't be the only large spill that's ever occurred. But it'll be on the order of, not just hundreds of thousands of barrels, but probably a billion barrels of oil. Now, a lot of that oil is being broken up with dispersants, and I know that dispersants have been argued as not being all that great in some cases. But by breaking up the oil with dispersants in tiny droplets, it does allow bacteria in the ocean to eat the oil. The bacteria also eats the dispersants themselves. And so it's keeping an incredible amount of oil from ever reaching the beach. Or this would be a worse disaster as far as the wetlands and beaches are concerned. How long does the process take? I'm not sure how long it will take to actually eat up all of the oil. It'd be kind of a guess, but I mean, it starts immediately. The question that I have is how long is the process going to take once the well is killed to clean up all of the oil that's in the ocean or onshore? Most of it will be cleaned up or eaten up by bacteria in a relatively short period of time, a matter of a few months. There might be some lingering effects, but most of it will be cleaned up relatively quickly. The problem is that there are lasting effects. Once you damage wildlife, it takes a while for the wildlife population to come back. Yes?
Wayne Alquist from West Virginia. with directional drilling, how many different directions can you go off from the same wellhead? Are you only allowed, can you only go in one direction, or can you, out of the same wellhead, go in several directions so you're draining it, not draining it?
Yeah,
Pulling
draining.
oil from, let's say, 360 degrees?
So the question is, how many directions can you go from one well? Can you go in multiple directions from one well? The answer is yes. It's called a multilateral well. And it's something that we've really just been able to do in the past 5 years or so. Is to drill multiple horizontal wells from one wellbore. And one of the things that does, it allows us to produce oil and gas from a smaller surface area because of the horizontal wells, because of the multilateral wells. And so, you know, we might be able to take one wellbore and drill in 3 or 4 different directions rather than just one direction. Yes? Right. Right. Yeah, I haven't seen the news this morning. But the question is that she understands there's a new cap they're going to try on the Congo well. What they're doing is they're unscrewing the flange, and if they can do that and get a new flange with new valves on top of it, they can either capture all of the oil or get the well shut in completely. The last I saw, which was looking at the internet last night, was that was going along fairly well. The problem, if this were onshore, what you have, and I've been on a blowout before, it's a small blowout, but what you have is a bunch of angry old guys who worked in the oil field for years trying to stab the valve on top and screw it back into place. In this case, we have to go with robots, and so it takes long. But what they're doing is standard as far as how to control a well.